Angelica became exhausted from her encounter and decided to retire to her quarters, designed to her specifications. Supplied with an iPad device of sorts, which created music from her past, she listened to songs from her universe non fabricated, making you wonder how they were able to do this when the artists were dead for at least 30 years. She figured it was best to enjoy it and not question how the process worked, as she dozed off into a deep sleep. When she awoke, Celia was standing over her bed, which startled her.
Silly, you scared me. What's up?
I have a question you could perhaps answer for me, he said.
You're asking me for advice?
Not exactly advice, Miss Avery. In the last 20 minutes, some of my internal systems have been shutting on and off, such as my ocular chips and my right arm appeared to be sluggish. I have entered your quarters and everything was fine.
Perhaps I better get you down to the robotics lab and give you a good looking over.
My sentiments exactly. They started to walk down the hallway towards the lab when Angelica noticed two Andronian sentries dispatched in front of the cargo bay. When they were at a safe distance, she turned to Seely.
After
Dispa-
we run some diagnostic tests on your systems, can you scan your database for anything you can find on the current Andronian government?
of course. Is Commander Baytar aware you want to investigate his superiors?
I just want to know what's in the box and why they're hiding it.
Sometimes it's best not to know.
What's that supposed to mean?
It means that perhaps you should just complete the mission, collect your share, and let the issue rest. Is it that important to know what's inside?
Whatever's inside is being guarded and under surveillance by the government directly. Doesn't that make you wonder what's in it? What about your sensors? Can you determine the box's contents?
My sensors haven't indicated any living organisms inside.
That's impossible. There must be something wrong with the controls because something definitely was moving. It probed my mind.
I can't be positive with my systems in the last 20 minutes, but they were working fine when I analyzed the structure. They turned the corner to the elevator, which took them down to the robotics lab, and they noticed the hallway behind them went dark from malfunctioning lights. Seeley went to press the activation button with his right arm, but it locked up on him, unable to move. Angelica pressed it for him, staring at his arm.
I hope your systems remain active long enough to get you down there. That's your new arm, isn't it?
I. Yes. Why, do you suspect the Andronians have tampered with my AI chip, as Varlu did?
No, no, nothing like that.
She replied.
I just suspected they know what's in the container and aren't telling me because they know I would object to transporting it.
She opened the door to the lab and waved for him to enter. He complied and stepped inside the vertical pod on the wall. She connected the wires into his various ports, under his arms, behind his ears, and into his side. She then walked over to the control panel, turning on the switch.
Well, if they did tamper with it, we'll soon find out.
I am ready for you to run the diagnostics now, Seeley said.
It'll take about a half hour,
She said.
providing they haven't tampered with the machine as well.
While she sat monitoring, she could see another vessel on the viewing screen in the distance. Seeley, whose system shut down during the process, stood motionless in the pod without concern for her android. She left him in the robotics lab while she started towards the bridge to find out who was in the vessel. Once she reached the lift and activated the button, the whole deck went dark. When the lift doors opened, she found herself staring face to face with another Andronian ship on the viewing screen. Open the channel to the Varmeshu, Beitar said, sitting in the captain's chair. Once she realized the human was there, he immediately gave up command to her. I was just contacting the ship. It's one of our own.
You may proceed.
she said as she sat down. This is Commander Betar, the Andronian said. This is Commander Altar, the voice answered. I have orders to immediately transport you to Zloria for peace negotiations between the Zlorians and the Sicarians. There must be some mistake. We're under orders from the High Council to execute a cargo transport mission. Not anymore. My order is for you to accompany us. Since when did I become an ambassador? For this galaxy to maintain peace, we must all be ambassadors. I've got multiple systems shutting down all over the ship. None of the technicians can figure out why, and we aren't supposed to be at our destination for months. Can I at least discuss this with my crew? You have 12 Valavas to repair your ship. Then you will have to leave with us. I suggest you rest your warp drive to sublight speed until such time. I wouldn't want you to burn out the warp drives if there is an issue. Yes, Commander, and thank you. Remember, 12 Valavas, and then you will come with us or face severe implications. Yes, Commander, he said. As the screen went blank, so did Betar's ego, knowing he had to comply or else. It would seem funny to be court-martialed by a militia that he only belonged a month to, and lost from another republic recognized him as a hero. He stared back at his human companion, dismayed she had heard the conversation. Where's Seeley?
I left him in the diagnostic lab.
She answered.
When I saw the ship on the screen, I came up here.
He knew nothing. He knew she was hiding something, but wanted to be an Andronian of his word, and not prior mine.
When the lights went out, he was stuck down there.
I've got a couple of men working on that as we speak. Apparently the systems have been shutting down all over the ship one at a time. Some kind of malfunction.
Even Seely is having problems. That's why I brought him down here. His right arm and eyes aren't working properly.
Well, it might be nothing but some kind of cosmic interference causing the problems. Maybe we're too close to a nebula.
Come on, Betar. How dumb do you think I am? You and I both know the nearest nebula is over 15 light years away.
Well, it's a theory anyway, he said.
Perhaps our secret passenger has something to do with this.
Angelica suggested. How could that be possible? Even if this thing is a living organism, how could it drain energy from the ship's systems? There must be another explanation. Nonetheless, we have work to do before I leave. Angelica stepped in front of him as he attempted to go back to the computer panel.
You're not actually going to go to Zaloria, are you?
You don't seem to understand. I have no choice. Could we discuss this somewhere else?
Why are you afraid of the council? Might be watching us?
Very well, we'll discuss it now. You have a job to do, Captain. Just like I have a job to do.
So you're going to leave me in a ship full of strangers?
The Andronians are not strangers to your kind. We have visited your planet for 3 millennia. You are among friends here. My absence will not weaken your command here, as long as you follow the protocol.
Forgive me, but after dealing with that diabolical half-brother of yours for 2 years, I'm just a little paranoid, and us carrying dangerous cargo doesn't help.
You'll be fine, Betar said. Why don't you check on Seeley, seeing how there was no major crisis up here?
Fine,
she said, shaking her head and leaving the bridge. Betar turned to his helmsman after she left. Patch me into Eldron headquarters, he ordered. Faster than light transmission. High Council, this is Commander Betar. Captain Avery has become overly curious about the nature of our cargo. I had to remove her from the cargo bay, where she was attempting to communicate with the cargo inside. Our power systems have failed erratically, but there isn't any evidence the cargo is causing this. The crew will attempt to repair the systems and then continue to Salatria. As you are aware, they called me away to be an ambassador on Zaloria. I will leave instructions with the crew concerning Captain Avery's curiosity. She will be placed in the brig if she fails to comply with the protocol. I will have her contact you once she reaches the destination and the box is transferred to the Salatriad ship. After the transmission, he sat in the command chair contemplating his upcoming engagement with the Zolorians. Although he didn't relish the thought of another meeting with the two races, it was his idea to form the Galactic Republic of Peaceful Civilizations in this universe, and his responsibility to see the fruition of the project. In his original universe, it had been his father who came up with the idea to form the alliance, but alternate universes tended to change everything he knew to be reality. It was just an observation, but he felt Varlu somehow fit easily into this universe. Jack Walker and Angelica had thwarted his birth here by altering the past, but there was still no way to know if a warp had or hadn't occurred, and their bodies duplicated. Maybe once he reached Zoloria, he would find an answer. Angelica resumed her diagnostic on her android. Whatever was the issue with the power on that floor had solved itself. Once she completed the tests, Seely's systems resumed their regular operation.
How's the arm?
She asked him as she unhooked his plugins. Like I could pitch a no-hitter, he quipped, removing himself from the pod. Did you discover what the malfunction was?
No.
She answered.
And apparently it's not just your systems. Units have been shutting on and off through the whole ship, and nobody knows why. You don't suppose the box's contents are causing the anomalies?
I would think that is highly unlikely if it is indeed a living, warm-blooded organism, although there have been exceptions, such as the electric eel on Earth and the regular raptor on the planet Varco in the Varda 1 system. But those animals emit energy, not drain it. I think we're dealing with something entirely alien than anything we have ever seen in the past.
Which is why I'm going to need your help. The Andronians called Baatar away to play ambassador to Zeloria.
That would be a grave mistake with the Venatu in charge, the android surmised. I understand the mission of the Council is to maintain peace throughout the galaxy. Still, the Venatu are just as savage as the Tellurians Captain Walker spoke of, and probably have no intention to negotiate with the humanoids either.
Which is why I think it's a foolish idea. But he's determined to go, and leave me with a crew I don't trust. Seely, I'm going to need you to help me find out what's really going on with the bots. I want a thorough check of the data files to see if you can find anything about our cargo. They won't suspect you because they can't read your thoughts. Wait until Baatar leaves. I wouldn't want him implicated in any way.
Of course, Miss Avery, he said. Anything you need.
I do know that the object has something to do with Varlu. I can feel it in my bones.
The feeling gives you joint pain?
Just another expression, Seely.
She said it, slightly annoyed.
I'll try to keep our Andronian crew occupied while you investigate.
Is it me, or do I sense you're regretting taking on this mission?
I thought they would at least inform me of the contents of the cargo.
It's a lot different than the NASA days, isn't it?
Why, Seely, feeling a bit nostalgic, are we?
All I meant is that when you and I first encountered each other on a communicative level, we haven't even thought about leaving Earth yet. Now here we are in another universe, in another galaxy.
I only wish my father had used his intelligence for productive purposes.
Perhaps your father wasn't in his right mind because of the triaculite and Varlu's influence.
Perhaps, but I don't blame Jeff for his death.
He'd be happy to know that, I'm sure. I'm not telepathic, but I can see you miss him.
I miss humans in general. Are you sure there are no human outpost between here and Solidaria?
None according to the star charts. Why do the Andronians make you uncomfortable? Is it because of their telepathic abilities?
Yes, but it's deeper than that. It's the fact that my own history involves them, and the things they did to my father and grandmother and hundreds of others long before that. It's knowing their kind have been watching and studying us longer than the earth has had life crawling on it. We're nothing but an experiment for them to study. They claim that they're all for peace, but carry a dangerous organism halfway across the galaxy to be used for an unknown purpose.
They did not interfere with your family history. Varlu is solely responsible for that. As far as we know, we have no evidence yet the organism is dangerous.
It linked into my mind and shut off systems all over the ship.
She said to her android. You have no proof of that yet. Once our guests leave, I will check the systems over thoroughly myself.
Well, okay, if you insist. I still think there's more going on here than meets the eye.
She opened the door, and the two of them left the lab, heading towards her quarters. Once she reached the door, she turned back to her android.
I'm going to lie down for a while, Celie. Why don't you study the technical journals of the ship, but be discreet. Once they're gone tomorrow, then we'll get to the real work.
I hope you know what you're doing, Miss Avery. I hate to see you make a fatal error and end up frozen like Varlu was.
Perish the thought.
She responded.
This time I'm going to be the one who gets the answers.